guess who's here again? It is Monte C. Wilson. Thank you so much for joining us again.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. This time we're going to talk about something a little different. We're going to talk about relationships.
Something near and dear to her.
Oh, relationships. Listen, relationships, I'm pretty sure, are near and dear to us all. And this time we just set the coffee aside. We're having a glass of champagne. Cheers. Thank you for having this time with me. I'm so excited to discuss relationships because we're celebrating. We're celebrating because we have overcome
What have we overcome?
All the trials that we've gone through with relationships with people. I mean, we're kind of like, we're not young chickens.
You mean we're still breathing?
Yes,
we are. Oh, we didn't.
Our feet are still on the ground.
Nobody
honey.
chopped us up and put us in a barrel and tossed us in a river.
Listen,
what do you mean?
We didn't chop anybody else up, okay? Because that's what I'm talking about.
Hey, I don't know. So yeah.
Well, you won't.
Okay.
You will never know. But
yeah,
guess what?
Inquire minds. I don't know. You never. You could be. You might not be telling me everything.
And you will never know. But the thing is that we all go through different challenges with relationships. As long as we're on this earth, we're going to have to deal with people, whether they're our significant others, the people at work, our children, people. Yeah. We're interacting with people, or else we're hermits by ourselves. And sometimes that's kind of tempting, but let's talk about that. What is your view on just dealing with relationships? Where do we start?
I think you need to break that question down.
Where do we start?
Be a little bit more specific, because that's just like that's an ocean you just threw me into.
Okay, well, you're a single man.
Yes.
I'm a single woman.
Mm-hmm.
We're not spring chickens.
No.
So there's a reason for that. There's a reason why we've chosen to not connect at this point.
Correct.
With someone.
Correct.
Right?
Right. Let me give you a little bit of background first, okay? So I'm divorced.
Okay.
Okay. I've been divorced probably 12 or 13 years. I'm not really keeping track.
Right.
But it has to be at least 13 years.
Okay.
I got married around 30 or so. Yeah, around 30. So I didn't get married really young, and I didn't get married really old either. Mm-hmm. I remember at the time I was thinking to myself, I was reaching 30 and I felt like that urge to, like, man, what am I doing? I need to find somebody and get my life going. So I kind of had like not a midlife life crisis, but I don't know if there's a name for that. But
I understand.
You know what I mean? I was that urge, like my clock was ticking, I guess. So I went ahead and I was ready, and I committed, and I tried my hardest, and I was married for 10 years. Okay. So after we separated and divorced, of course, I would say I've had 3 meaningful relationships since then.
Okay.
Yeah.
3. All right.
Right.
Oh, wait. So how long have you been divorced?
3. When I say meaningful relationships, let me give you my definition. That means I had 3 relationships that, okay, this is my girlfriend and we are together.
We're gonna try to make this work.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
I had 3 girlfriends since then.
And this is how, you said 13 years you've been.
In 13 years, I've had 3 girls. Like, yeah, that was my girlfriend.
That's fair. I mean, I don't know what's fair, but that sounds fair.
And it was the one that should be number 4. But I don't know if I could call her my girlfriend. I felt like it, but I don't know. It just.
I think that people come into our lives and they're significant. I don't know what we can call them sometimes. Sometimes we marry them. Sometimes we in a serious relationship with them. Sometimes they just have a heck of an impact on our life. They take the wind out of us for a second. Those people are significant to me. People you'll never forget that help you really probably learn something.
Yeah, I learned a lot. I just don't know if I could just technically say that she was my girlfriend, because it wasn't like official, even though it was like that 3 months or so.
There was a connection there.
Very, very good 3 months.
Okay, very good 3 months. Sometimes, you know what? That's why I don't like timelines. Yeah. Because sometimes 3 months can seem like forever, and forever can seem like, what do we do?
Right.
So.
And she left a lasting impression for only being 3 months. She left a more lasting impression than the rest of them.
Oh. Well, that's a blessing. I've learned to take these experiences that we've had as a blessing. At first I didn't understand. You meet someone,
Mm-hmm.
you feel like you have that connection. I don't think that that's common. I think at least for me, when I connect with someone, that's rare. It's almost like God did it. It's like a needle in a haystack. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
you could just select that. Sometimes it selects you. I've learned instead of to being mad that it didn't work out in my mind of what I planned for it.
Uh-huh.
Obviously after you heal, after
Yeah, yeah,
time
right.
has passed,
Yeah.
in retrospect,
You
because
didn't think that the next day.
right, not everyone that comes into your life, I feel like that has that kind of impact on you is really ultimately a blessing, and you just cherish that experience.
Right.
Because right now, I chose to be single because it was like Mando. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, at this point, time out. I need to work on me and my perspective because we have this idea sometimes. What do you think about that? Like, don't we have this
Oh, no. Oh,
idea
yeah,
of
yeah,
what
yeah.
we think it should be?
Most people's are messed up.
Most people's is messed up.
Most of y'all got a messed up perception. You
Tell the
have a
people.
messed up perception of what it's supposed to be. So, and you're looking for something that's not attainable or not
Hmm.
actually realistic.
Hmm.
Um, my perception of what it should be has changed quite a bit over the years.
I could say
It's
the
very
same.
interesting right now. Actually, I'll let you know in a second when it's time. But go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, that I can say the same. I can also say that when I was approaching 30, I felt like I needed to be married. I'm like,
Hmm.
oh my God, I'm 20, 28, to be 28 again. I just felt like, oh my God, I'm going to be 30 and I have to have my career set and I need to have my husband. I'm supposed to have children and all these things. Or else I'm not gonna measure up to my idea.
Yeah,
But my idea was just what was told. I was programmed to believe, right?
that's what I was getting ready to ask you. Where did we get these ideas?
Where did we get these
These
ideas?
ideas that we got that we had to be this, had to be that, what a relationship's supposed to be, blah blah blah. I would argue that these ideas and that were programmed into our brain half the time is what ruined the relationships.
I agree. I have to agree. So y'all don't know this, but Monty and I follow each other on Instagram,
Oh, I didn't know
and
what you was getting ready to say. Go ahead.
I could say I'm liable to say anything, but we follow each other on Instagram, and he's like, I love how every now and then he'll send me like a clip on relationships about, like just these new concepts that a lot of us are starting to come into the understanding
Hmm.
that it's not what we thought. Like they told us, they kind of told us a lie. Like, like the song with Snoop Dogg, fairy tales are make believe. We were sold the fairy tale.
Right.
The man came and saves the woman, and we're supposed to have 1.2 kids with a picket fence. Like that's
Yeah.
literally, I mean, it's so cliche, but that's literally what we were sold, and we feel like we're in this rush to make that happen.
Yeah.
Especially as a woman
Right.
too. Like we got to have kids by a certain time.
Yeah. And I've had uh I want to I guess I call them relationships. I've had relationships to where this person wanted to be with me and they wanted to have this relationship and they wanted to just take it to another step, but they wasn't willing to actually work on the relationship, which I thought was backwards. I always thought that was backwards. I always thought like, wait a minute, how you want to jump to stage 5 when we ain't even worked on stage 1, 2, 3, and 4?
That's interesting because it makes me wonder, where were you exactly at that time?
Me or them or both of us.
You guys together, like, were you been dating for a while? Because a lot of women need to hear this. A lot of people need to hear this because we all have our different ideas.
Hmm.
Sometimes men tend to want to wait longer, and women want to be like, oh, I like you, we connect, let's do it. So where in there were you all? Had you been dating?
We had been dating for a while, right? And I'm the type of person who I look in the mirror a lot, right? Like I'm not the type of person who will take a for instance or take something that happened and just say uh I look within. I feel like the answer is within
Mm-hmm.
to whatever I need, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I will look at, okay, how did I act in that situation? How I could have done
Right.
that
Okay.
differently, blah blah blah, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm in a relationship, sometimes maybe we're getting along great and I have this like what is called the 80-20 rule, right? Let's say 80% of this relationship is great, but that 20% needs some work, right?
Okay.
Now, theoretically, you would think that that 80% will overpower that 20 because it's a bigger number, but a lot of times that 20% will overpower that 80 and mess up the relationship, right? So I'll be looking like, okay, this person, I could deal with this person. We cool. This, I'm attracted to her. I'm this and this and this. I can go all these different lists, but she's maybe hard headed, or maybe she does this few things that
You
are
call that
off.
like red flags, kind
Right.
of.
And so I will actually try to work on those few things, right?
I see.
So yeah, and I will. Well, hey, let's talk about these things. Let's present these things. I've been in some situations where I tried to talk about them and present these few little things that I felt like we need to work on that would make our relationship, make not just like, oh, I need you, and I'm not talking about, oh, I need you to do this, and I need you to do that, and I need you. I'm talking about how can we do this? I will do this, and then you, if you do this, then I can do this, and we can both.
Right, we
That's
can
what I'm
tweak
talking
it and
about.
make it work.
Right.
Okay, so then here's my question. You're this is the same relationship where that person wanted to take it to further. But you
Yeah.
were
Okay.
like,
Let's.
okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it
Let's.
sounds like you were trying to work on this 20% of the things that probably nobody's gonna sync up 100%.
Right.
You're
Right.
gonna have some work to do. So was she saying she wants to make it more and still willing to work on 20% within that context? Because I kind of feel like she wanted. What does she want? Does she want to get married, or does she want to just say we're exclusive? What was she trying to take it all? Go.
Yeah. She
What
was.
was her
No, we
further?
were exclusive. We were
You
exclusive.
were already
Yeah.
exclusive.
Yeah. Yeah. So she was trying to take it further. Yeah,
Mm.
further than exclusive, further to like, okay, maybe we might move in together, or we might have kids and that sort of
Okay.
thing.
Okay. I
Yeah.
think it's really responsible though to really look at the part that could be questionable and how you can adjust it because you can adjust it, but both people have to be willing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So I was looking at, like, I wasn't really, I'm not trying to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I was just like, you know what?
right, we
When
can
she
work with
talked
this.
about, oh, I need to get pregnant. That's basically what she was saying.
Ooh,
I
okay.
need to
She
get pregnant
really
because
wanted
my,
to
my
take it
time
to
is
the
ticking, and
next
I need to
level.
get pregnant. And so I was just like, I would have I would think something I would consider.
Okay.
But I'm not having no baby by somebody who this and that.
We need to figure this
So
out.
if you could, we could work together and we could
Right.
fix this and that. Then yeah, this is something I could do. And
Hmm.
she was just like, I'm not
And
fixing.
this was after your kids.
Yes.
So this is
So
okay, more
so this
recent,
would have been
within the last.
another, yeah,
Right, because you already
another.
have kids. You already been. This ain't your first
Right.
rodeo.
I have 3 kids by my wife.
Right.
So having kids willy nilly here, there, and everywhere is
Your
not my thing.
ex-wife.
It's, yeah, my ex-wife. So
Just
very
I just
ex.
want to
You're
make
right.
very ex.
Me having kids willy nilly. I didn't have
Right.
any kids before her, and I haven't had any kids after. That's
Hmm.
a huge thing to me.
Right.
That's not
Just
something.
taking that
Oh
step.
yeah, it's a huge thing to me.
It is a very
That's
huge
not
thing.
like, hey, I'm just gonna have kids with anybody, and it wasn't no slip ups either. Before that,
Mm,
there haven't been no slip ups after. That tells you where I'm coming from. So for this person
good
to
job.
ask that, and for me to consider that, that was a big thing for
Yeah.
me.
So that's yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't just like, oh
She
yeah,
probably didn't. I
I
don't know if she had a lot of time too, because for women, one thing about us is we on time.
yeah,
On if not for our own self, but for the fact that we're not gonna be able to do it too much longer. So we
correct.
gotta know
She was on that. She was
she was
definitely
on that.
aware of that.
Has
She
she had any kids
No,
before? Okay. Okay.
right. So I figure if that was that important to you, can we, hey, can we work on these few things? Because I feel like, because to me that's a forever thing.
And you're involving another life. Once you
Yeah,
create life, it's a
right.
big deal.
Yeah.
Trust me, it's a big deal because being a single mother, coming from, honestly, to be truthful, all the women in my family have been single mothers for the most part.
Hmm.
So the impact on the kids is just, you don't want to be responsible for that,
And let me give
you
you
know?
some context here. That the time of this happened was around the same time that, because once me and my ex broke up, we lived in the same city. She had just recently had moved my 3 daughters out of town.
Mm.
So now my 3 daughters are out of town, and we were
Mm.
dealing with that. So now you're asking me to have another child while I'm still dealing with my $3 living away from me in
So
another
listen,
city.
I get that and I understand that. And what you said was key because you were in the middle of something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how long after your divorce that was, but you were also in the middle of not only the divorce and the repercussions of that, but then the repercussions of how it affected your children. Because
Correct.
now your children are moving. It's a lot goes on when you have a divorce, right? And
Yeah.
then you have the children, and it's a lot of damage control and two parents, two estranged partners trying to work together
Yeah.
to
Oh yeah.
or not.
It was all bad at the time.
All bad.
It was all bad at the time.
Right.
It was not good at all. It was a lot of stress and a lot of drama at that time.
So, for me, I just want to say that I dealt with someone. I was a naive to a lot of things, and I think a lot of us are until we experience it and really get an understanding. Because some things you can't understand if you don't experience.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I realized dealing with a man who was newly divorced, like what going through a divorce, I know y'all out there going through a divorce. He going through a divorce, so he about to file the paper, so it's all good. We finna, it's already settled. Like we really
That
sure.
was
We
yeah.
know, we know this is happening, right? We know it's happening. It's not like he's telling a lying because that's a whole nother show. But we know he's getting divorced, so it's all good. That's gonna be over. Or he just got out of the divorce, so it's definitely all good. The papers are signed, the court then stamped it.
Yeah, you waiting.
But
Yeah.
what I've learned is still need time.
Oh yeah, and I realized that
Mm-hmm.
in the midst of all of that, I came to my realization that because remember I told you I always self-reflect,
Right.
and I self-reflected that yo, this is serious business that we're playing here. This is not a game. Like when you're like 20, when you're a man and you're like 20, 21, 22,
Mm-hmm.
you're just playing a game.
Right.
Nothing is real to you. You can go and meet someone and tell them whatever and have this crash in 2 weeks or whatever. But once I got to a certain age, I was like, these crashes and these when you meet someone, there's consequences and repercussions to
Oh
all of
yes.
this. I started to see all that.
Mm-hmm.
So once I really realized the situation that I was in at the time, and I really realized that I need to get out of this situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not the one to be having if she's gonna find someone to have this kid, it should not be me because this is a very
Right.
because it's a horrible timing for me. Because yeah,
And really, you helped her.
right.
She probably also didn't realize because, like I said, I was in a situation where I didn't realize the extent of what happens when not just we go through a divorce, but a man goes through divorce, and then
Hmm.
we come into their life, and they got these kids and this ex-wife, and sometimes we really discount the the how big that is.
Yeah,
You know.
and if anyone's getting out of a relationship, man or woman, you're not in your right mind. That's what that whole rebound thing really
Right.
is. That really is a real thing. And I didn't
Mm-hmm.
used to always hear the rebound person, blah blah blah, but you don't
Mm-hmm.
really, really, really know what it is. It's
Until
like
you know.
until you really know. And then
You
once
know
I
when you
really
know.
knew, I was like, ah. And once I knew
Oh.
that, I never had to
Mhm.
worry about that again. Because I knew I was
Mhm.
aware. I was self-awareness. Being self-aware in situations, I'm big on that. Right. So you
Mhm.
could be sitting in a room and be just self-aware what's really really just going on, and you can see once you can see something you
Mhm.
can't unsee it. So
Right.
I was able to just see that rebound thing, and I was like, man, this decision, this is what I wanted to say,
Right.
and I caught myself, or this is what I wanted to do and I caught myself, or I just said something and I know why I just said that.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
yeah, I was in that situation. Something ended up happening where I ended up she basically got herself out of that relationship.
Mm.
What ended up happening was when she wanted to do that, I actually this is a good example of not really wanting to work on that 20.
Mm.
I said to her, if we're gonna go this route that you want to go, here's just a few things that we need to work on, right? And I
Mhm.
gave her, and here's the thing, I tried to give her the few things that we needed to work on, and I never even was able to even get them out. She flipped out on me before I can even tell her what the things were. I literally said, "Okay, listen," broke it down. We sat down.
Mhm.
There's some things we need to work on
Because at
before
this
we
point you were still really
was
willing to work it
contemplating.
out.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's some things we need to work on.
Mhm.
And she went off and basically almost had like this. I don't want to call it what it was. She almost had like a nervous breakdown just by me wanting to talk about it. I never really even got to say what it was. So once that happened, I was like, okay, this is my way out. And I took that way out. I didn't take that as okay, now let's continue to work on this and blah blah blah. I took that as here's the God, God gave me my way out, and I took that way out.
Sometimes it's just God works in mysterious ways, and He will just rip some stuff apart for you.
Yeah, it was.
For
Yeah.
you. We don't understand the time, but everything happens for a reason. I believe that all things work together for good. And even though it doesn't feel good at the time, it's really like purpose. Because like when I look back, I'm like, I know that wasn't meant to be. But had that not happened, I would have never left.
Yeah.
I'd still be there because I'm a very loyal person just by default. That's who I am. I'm a Taurus. I don't really do the sign thing, but like we're just by default very loyal people. They say.
Yeah, I'm a Taurus
actually,
too.
oh, that's right. I didn't forget. I
You
didn't
over there
forget.
trying to
But
tell
as we're
me?
talking, I didn't think about you're a
Yeah.
Taurus too, so we're like loyal to a fault. A lot of things they say about us really are true. But
I don't think so.
But we are loyal people.
Yeah, I think people. I think we're a
We're
little.
loyal
I
to
think
the
we're a
soil.
little.
Let's just be.
I think we're misunderstood. When
Yes.
people say that we're hard headed and all this type of stuff, I'm not hard headed. I'm only hard headed when you try to get me to do something stupid.
Right. When I know I'm right.
That's when I'm hard headed.
Let's just say it. When I know I'm right, you're not gonna tell me.
Yeah, you can't tell me that I'm wrong.
That it's left. Because
Yeah.
it's right.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And I'm not gonna turn
We're not going for the okie doke.
Yeah, I used to always say with my ex-wife that I'm never gonna turn to the dark side. Meaning, like, yeah, you're not gonna turn me to the dark side. I know what's right. I know it's very simple. I was raised in a certain way. I know what's right and what's wrong.
Right. We'll do whatever we can for you, but there's a line in the sand.
Right.
And we don't cross
and that's when I'm hard headed.
Yeah.
Like, but when people act like we're hard headed in just like little stupid situations, like oh, I'm not gonna, I don't want to do this. I don't want to wash the dishes. I'm just gonna be hard headed. No, there's scientific research that shows
because it matches everybody.
Right. There's scientific research that shows if they gave you a list of 100 things, most people are gonna look at that and say, "Oh, I fit that."
Right.
You fit.
Have you ever seen those like memes on social media? I'm a big social media person. I hate to admit that, but like where they say, "Oh, this type of sign does this, and this." Yeah. Well, yeah, like we all do.
Right.
Back to
it seems like it works. It does. It does to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not much into it either, but I'm not like a big, huge like, oh, it's Taurus season and all that kind of stuff. I don't do all that, but once you kind of read it, you kind of do see some things that like, okay, this does match me. Right. It's people making money off of that, whatever.
But I tell you what, with these relationships, I feel like I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful and grateful where I am in my life. I've been through every horrible relationship aspect. It's crazy. Like, I don't know why. Like, why me? But maybe I started looking at me. Like, what is it with me?
Yeah, that's it. Self-reflection.
Yeah. How did I get to that?
The answer is within. Like most people look at the answer like somebody, give me the answer. Right. Or I got to find it somewhere else. I got to go to this particular church, or I got to go to this particular school. I got to go this, and this. The answer is always within.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's so true. And that's why I kind of was like, I'm a wait. I had a breakup not too, well, it was long ago. It was long enough ago where I probably technically should be dating again. But I said, you know what? No, I need to make sure I'm at a point in my life. I don't mind saying my age. How old are you? Do you mind?
I'm 52.
I'm 52. I'm 48. So I'm at a point in my life where I'm not pressed to hurry up and get married or have kids. I'm not having no kids or anything like that. And I just feel like I'm at a point in my life where I have to really focus on me and understand, what does Keisha want? What have I been programmed to believe? What have I not been programmed? Where do I fall? What do I expect? It's so many things. And I think people just jump from relationship to relationship to relationship and not really just take that time to self-reflect.
The programming part is huge.
It's real.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most of the things that you're complaining about, you're talking about, is actually a reflection of the past.
Right.
You know what I mean? The past is already gone. It's already over. It's a reflection of the past.
What you've learned, what you've been through, the trauma, because I know I told people, I suffer from post-traumatic stress relationship disorders, what I call it, stress disorder, whatever. Like, it's really a big deal, because not only are you dealing with yourself and your issues, but you're living with people and their issues.
Yeah, I could say that too.
And when you join up those issues, you don't know whose issues is what. So it takes time to sort that stuff out, and it's okay.
And not everyone is as good as as others as knowing that.
Right.
Right. Like, we all do it to a certain extent, but then some people is just like they wear it on their sleeve. Like, they literally walk in and you're like, especially, I don't know, it may be the same thing. I don't want to, I don't like to say stuff like, especially if you're a man, because women go through some of the same stuff. And that's what I like I try to do. I try to look at both sides of everything. I don't want to say, well, men go through this, and when women are going through the exact same thing. So I might catch myself. So, anyways,
I do too.
I might catch myself. I don't want to say that, but normally, a lot of times, men like to think. I'll just say it that way. That when we go into relationships, we have to deal with every man that's hurt that woman. You know what I mean? In the past.
And that's quite possible.
Yeah. And so it may be more of a woman thing. You could tell me, but
well, I'd be glad to.
But we've all gone through things in the past. I usually go into every relationship as this is a fresh start. You know what I mean? I think that's important. Right. So, but when I say some people handle that differently than others, some people literally, like, they can't even hide the fact that you're dealing with the issues that I've had, or the bad things that I've had in the past. You should be at least hiding it. You see what I'm saying? Don't let the person know up front that you're, like, you know what I mean? Like,
not
at least
front, maybe.
Just hide it.
I don't know.
You know what I mean by hiding it? I don't know.
Just the word hide gives me just,
or at least hide it. Don't let them.
We should be hiding
people
things.
Be wearing it on their sleeve. Like, I walk into this, like, let's say this is our first date. And, like, everything you're saying to me, I'm sitting up here like, whoa, she's been hurt in the past, and I'm gonna be in trouble. I'm gonna have to deal with all the hurt that you're dealing with in the past. Like, you're letting me know that up front. Like
there's in what kind of way? Is she saying, well, you might do this and you might do that, or she's saying, I've been hurt?
She could be saying that. Past. She could be saying that. Okay, she could be saying that. One thing that's not saying it, she could be flat out saying it. One thing that's not saying it is, let's say you start questioning me on things before I even had a chance to even violate it. Like, if
right.
If
that, I get what you're saying there.
If I lied to you, or was somewhere I wasn't supposed to be, I was somewhere and I didn't answer my phone, and for hours or days at a time, then yeah, you could be like, okay, I'm starting to question him, and you can start giving me that vibe. But if I haven't even done that yet, why am I getting that vibe before I even, what I mean? I'm doing everything right. That's what I'm saying. I've been in a lot of situations where I'm like, damn. Okay, can I mess up first?
Let me give you a scenario. I dated fresh out of a breakup. I'm not even gonna say fresh out. Probably maybe 6 months, whoever knows. But to me, it was still fresh out, because I know I wasn't ready yet, in retrospect. No matter what. I caught a glimpse of someone who made me feel like, oh, okay, well, maybe I could do this. Too soon. But I said, okay, you know what? I like him. We got a lot in common. Woo, 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 peace, So we start talking, and everything's beautiful for like a month, 2 months, every day, consistently. I'm really like, wow, this is making me feel better. I can vibe with this person. Obviously, I'm making him feel cool. Like, we both like, wow, is this too good to be true type of thing? Well, it was. Because what happened was some inconsistency showed up.
Okay.
And baby, when that inconsistency showed up, all of them traumas showed up in me, because I'm like, hold on. You said this and you didn't do this. Now, I didn't come into it like you said on the first date. Right. I gave the fair chance. Obviously at that point, I realized how affected I was by it. I was like, okay, you're not ready. You're not ready.
Yeah.
You're not ready, because you don't even, do not deserve this type, of, but it really floored me, because I was like, okay, I'm having a great time with someone. So when you say that I'm gonna have to deal with her and all of her issues, I do think it was too soon, but I say that it was too soon because of how it affected me when things didn't go well. That doesn't mean he was a horrible person, but maybe he was. I don't know. I really don't know, but I know that
Yeah,
my
yeah.
emotions didn't match
Right.
the crime. You know what I'm
It
saying?
didn't
Like,
match the crime. Yeah.
so that's what I knew. I had to take a step back, regardless.
But at least you saw that though.
Oh, because I'm so sensitive to it because I've
Yeah.
been through so much.
Yeah, at least you took the time to reflect and say, hey, you know what? Maybe this ain't,
Right.
right. It's me in this situation right now.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
right. Well, that wasn't immediate, but it was because I already didn't think I should have been out there
Hmm.
that soon. I was actually surprised that I met somebody that made me
Yeah.
feel some kind of way that soon. So, and then also now in retrospect, I'm like, that wasn't even nobody that you should have been,
Yeah.
but it
Right.
was
Right.
like I guess I needed something at that time because I was broken and that person did. So it's so many things you have to be careful of. Like you can be broken and somebody could come along and make you feel like something and you put them at a higher level because they gave you something that you needed, but
Right.
that's like
Right.
called
Right. Yeah. You see,
codependency.
yeah, that happens a lot. Yeah. That happens a lot during the rebound phases.
Right. He was definitely a
Yeah.
rebound. And in retrospect, I realized
Yeah.
that. But I'm so glad that I caught myself because, like you said, we're at a point now as we get older and more mature and more wise where there's no misses. We don't want to miss. I just told my sister that the other day. I was like, you know what? I think I'm ready to date again. I think I'm about to. She was like, oh, she was happy. She's like, so you ready? And I was like, well,
Mhm.
yeah, I think I'm about to be ready. Because I just don't like I can't afford to go through a lot of the things that I've gone through. So
Are you able
yeah.
to hold? Are you able to hold that feeling back though? Are you able to go into a relationship knowing like, okay, this is gonna be this way, and I'm gonna look at it this way, and I'm only gonna look at it this way, and then it's gonna progress naturally and slowly in a progression. What,
Yes.
can you do that? Yeah.
Yes, because I don't want to be on a hamster wheel of going through the same things again. So I will definitely be doing that
Hmm.
whenever I'm ready or actually do it. I know that I'm gonna be definitely what do I call it? Uh throttling
Yeah.
myself in that.
Right.
Like I'm gonna make sure that I'm not 100% just woo because I need to pay attention. We need to pay attention
Yeah.
because you don't know this person. It takes a
No.
long time to get to know
Yeah.
someone. So yeah, I think that I can do it because I don't want to get on the
Right.
hamster wheel again.
'Cause
I'm not going through the repeating the same.
let me tell you a couple of stories.
Okay.
Okay, so now that you talk about that, it made me think of this. There's a couple of situations that I had to where I figured out a pattern here, and I figured out something that was kind of going on, and I started to like compensate for that.
Hmm.
Let's say we live in a world now where somebody might inbox you, somebody might, and then the next thing you know, you move that over to text message or whatever, right?
Right. Right.
So if someone we're having an inbox conversation, I'm the type of person, whatever, I'm a good inboxer, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that inbox conversation is going to go well.
Mhm.
It's going to go well.
You're a good inboxer.
Yeah, I'm a good inboxer. I'm telling you, if you're watching this and me
Good
and you start
great
inboxing,
inboxer.
it's going to go well,
Right.
right? We move that over to the text message.
Right.
The text
That's a big
messages,
step.
it's going to go well. I'm a
Okay.
good texter.
Okay.
You're
And
going
that's
to,
good because a lot of people don't
yeah,
text.
no, I'm a good
Yeah.
texter. You're going to read those texts. You're going to be like, man, right? This guy is
You're
wonderful.
funny, yeah.
We move it over to the phone conversation, right?
So what he's saying is, don't stop at text because it's
Yeah,
gonna be.
it goes to the
He
phone
got that
conversation. It
covered.
goes to the
Okay.
phone conversation.
Okay. Okay.
I'm good on the phone.
Oh, you got on the phone
Yeah, I'm
too.
good on the phone
Uh
too.
oh. It's on the phone, y'all.
We talking on the phone, and you're gonna be like, "These are some good conversations we having on this phone, girl." You're
Oh,
gonna be
okay.
at work the next day, like, "Girl, we just we had the greatest conversation on the phone."
Okay.
All of this means nothing.
That means nothing. That means
It
nothing.
means nothing because guess what?
What?
We're gonna go on that first whatever date or whatever you want to
When you
call it.
actually see one
We'll see,
another.
yeah,
Okay.
that's gonna go well too,
Oh, you
right?
got that covered
Yeah,
too.
I'm good. That's gonna go
See,
well.
I would have been caught up.
You're gonna walk off. You're gonna walk away from that.
Right.
Oh, girl, I had to. It was great.
We finally, and it was just everything I thought it would be.
None of that means nothing either. It means nothing as far as how that relationship gonna go, how that whatever gonna go. So this is why I'm bringing this up. I realized that a long time ago, right? So even though all of that has happened, I'm still in take it slow mode because I still don't know if this person, me and this person, is cool.
Rightfully so, though. Yeah.
But
seriously,
other people don't have that same realization, right? So they think, okay, we inbox, we text, we talked on the phone, we had this first date that went well.
You can get married.
They think it's all good.
You can get married now.
Right. When I'm still like, I don't know if this is all good because I know that those 4 things, those stages we went through, it's easy for it to just seem like it's all good. So I've been in a few situations where I'm still like trying to take it slow, like whether we move, progress to these next level. And I feel like the woman was like, feel like I was moving too slow for them. And they was getting frustrated and they was getting whatever. And it almost kind of like they was getting mad almost. They're like, yo, what's okay, you know, how come you ain't asked me out? Or how, and then you asked me out, how come we ain't did and so that's I think a mistake people make is try to move too fast when that doesn't just because that inbox conversation was good, going great, that don't mean now all of a sudden it's all good.
It cost you 10 years of your life.
Because all of that don't mean nothing because it's gonna go well. But just because all those stages went well don't mean I'm the man for you.
Right. And that's what I was saying. Like, so I don't like internet dating, right? I'm just gonna put that out there. Like, I can't do it. Some people can do it. I know people that got married off of it. I think about it. I've tried it for like a week and I get overwhelmed and anxious and I just gotta get off of there because
wait. You mean like putting your profile on a dating site?
Yes, okay. I'm scared of that because first of all, number one,
that's how I met my ex-wife. But go ahead.
Oh Lord, I'm done. I will never do it again.
And this was, you got to keep in mind, put this in perspective. This was in the 1999 when this was all new.
What was that even?
This was very, very new.
So it was out.
This was Love on AOL. Do y'all remember Love? If you old enough to remember,
I never knew about that.
It was called. You remember AOL?
Yeah.
Well, they had a thing called Love at AOL, and it was like a thing you could put your profile on there. That's where I made on there.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, way back that. So it was crazy back then to meet somebody online. But go ahead.
Okay. Well, I know a lot of people that have been successful at it, and I'm happy for them, and I think it's a great thing. One of the things I have a problem with on there is that, first of all, I'm putting my face, my information, and I just feel like I'm for sale. Like, I feel like people are swiping through me like as if they were swiping past the next Louis bag. Oh, not that one, that one there.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in that. I mean, that's all I could, like, that's for me. I don't want to do that. But I was telling my sister, like, I am considering opening my life up to someone because at the end of the day, nobody wants to be alone. We all want to have someone who we could talk to and so forth, right? But
do you need someone?
I need somebody woke, like kind of like what you're saying. Like, I feel like you're woke. That's what I call woke, when you're actually considering the ramifications.
The real woke. Not the fake woke.
Not the fake woke.
Because the fake woke.
I don't need nobody on a time clock. I don't need nobody looking for nothing from me. I want somebody that's been broken down enough to where you're just like, you know what? I want somebody I can talk to. I want somebody I can bounce something off of. And start from there maybe. And then, like you said, pay attention. Because I also, the reason why I brought this up is because one of the things you said reminded me of something I identified. I want somebody, I want to know that whoever I'm talking to is okay if it doesn't work out. Because everybody's not for everybody.
Right.
People be so easily offended.
Yeah.
You're probably a great guy, but maybe not a great guy for me.
Right.
You know, I actually married a great guy. A great guy. I love my ex-husband for who he is. He just wasn't the guy for me.
Correct.
And so I've learned that. You know, we can't be so desperate for a man or a mate that we're going to just use our time clock to decide that we need to hurry up and do this, and it can cost you a lot of time. We're not spring chickens, so
Right. And that goes back to that thing we talked about at the very beginning, is that traditional thought of what it's supposed to be. So when
right.
you have that traditional
Oh,
brainwashed thinking of what it's supposed to be, that's when you pick okay, you picking a guy who looks like this, he
mhm.
drives this kind of car, he has this kind of job, and he's this
Yeah.
height, and he's this whatever.
Yeah, and you already had that in your mind
Right.
before you even met the
Yeah.
dude. Yeah.
Meanwhile, so you're going after that dude. Meanwhile, 20 other dudes that was, probably that would have been better for you, you done passed up because
Now here's the one thing though. Here's the one thing, Monty. I feel like that's the hard part because we as especially women, I can speak to women because I'm a woman, are told like go outside of your comfort zone. Like you need to try some different
hmm
kind of guy. You always used to this kind of guy. Okay, that kind of guy that I'm used to may not be the guy, but I'm not gonna force myself. I feel like there has to be an attraction. There has to
Oh yeah,
be
of course.
something that draws you to this person. And if it's something negative, then it's something you need to work on. And God is gonna send you through repeat lessons and trials until you get it right.
Right.
Right? Until you understand what you need to learn. And once you learn that, you need to understand like God can do anything. He could send you the right person.
Yeah.
All of the things
Yeah.
that you desire.
And sometimes you can test something outside the box. I tested something outside the box one time. Like there's a certain type of woman that I've always gone for.
Right.
I'm
So
not
they
gonna,
all
well,
kind of
we're not
look
gonna,
alike.
I'm not gonna say who it is, what it is, but there's a certain type.
God, I want to know.
I'll tell you off camera. There's a certain
Okay,
type.
okay.
It's not nothing bad.
Right.
Just don't want to
They
put that
probably
out
fit
there.
a certain
Yeah,
mold.
because
Yeah.
it might be somebody that's not in that mode. That I don't want to put
Okay.
that bad energy
Thank
out
you.
there.
Thank you. Thank you. Because that might be the one.
That might be the one. And I dated someone that wasn't in that mode, and we actually vibed pretty good.
hmm
But there was still that in my mind thinking, okay, like me and this person being around my family, or me and this person being around my friends. I didn't see. I just couldn't visualize that, and a lot of times
mm
I caught myself doing that years ago, right?
hmm
And this is something weird about. I'm gonna call it weird about me.
Okay.
Whenever I would meet a woman, right,
mm
I would look at her and I would say, "Could I could I introduce her to my grandma?" You can call
Okay.
that whatever. That's
I
what I
don't
would
think
do.
that's
I
weird.
literally would visualize.
That's actually a very good
Yeah,
reference,
I would.
point of
Would I?
reference
Could and I was doing it for
to
years, and
me.
I realized that like, whoa,
hmm
I actually do that every time. And
mm
not to say I wouldn't date that person. I just
hmm
wouldn't introduce her to my grandma.
hmm
I would put those women in this kind of box, and I would put this woman in
Right.
this kind of box,
We
and
do
this
that.
kind of box,
We do that.
and if you could be introduced to my grandma, you was in the better box, obviously.
Okay.
So that's what I was doing.
I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
So so what happened? How did you get with the lady? Could you introduce her? At the time,
D-
it seemed like you
d-
could introduce her to,
this one-on-one I was just telling you about.
or even the one you married.
The one I married, I could introduce her to my grandma. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I just didn't want her to say nothing, but she could.
You mean so you're talking about like just initial presentation?
Yeah, like on the surface,
Okay.
she
Can
could
you
be.
bring her around your
Yeah, yeah,
grandma?
yeah. She's
Right.
somebody you
Some
can bring
people you
around my
just can't
grandmother.
even bring around.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just yeah. That's a whole nother. But yeah. But this particular person I was telling you about, the one that I went outside my box. Um, she would be somebody that I could, because she wasn't gonna say nothing stupid or say nothing embarrass me or anything.
hmm
But it just was. It was just like the vision was. It was hard for me. I had to squint to see it. Whether
Mm.
sometimes you can see it, but sometimes you got to squint to see. Like you gotta like you
Right.
gotta put your glasses on to see.
Right. Right.
But
Right.
I could see it. So yeah. So it
Yeah.
was somebody outside my box, and we was cool. Yeah.
What happened?
I mean, it eventually ended. Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think it was somebody that I could like. It was like not a forever person. You know what I
Mm.
mean? I do that too. I look at, is this a forever person? Is this not a forever person? So I've met
Yeah.
some people that I thought were forever persons, and it
Yeah.
didn't last. You know what I mean? It
That's
didn't last.
that's the hard part about with me about dating because I'm so like I don't know if I'm too rigid. That's why I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready or I'm not ready. But I'm like, I need to know, like, I feel like I need to have some kind of inkling that this could possibly be a forever person.
Yeah. At this
And
point,
some
yeah.
people are like, no, just date, just get out, just learn, see what you see what's
Yeah.
out, because you don't really know who's your forever person
Yeah.
right away. Like you said, it takes time.
Yeah. I fluctuate back and forth with that. I'll go
Yeah.
from find a forever person to like, I don't need no forever person. You know what I mean? That's why I was getting ready to ask you, like, when you say you wanted to date now, do you feel like you need a full-time person? Because I think that's something that people need to come to realize too, is that not everybody, wherever they are in their life, you got to look at yourself like, do you need a full-time person? Because you may be you might be really, 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 if you really broke it down, you don't need a full-time person. You're not ready for a full-time person,
Yeah.
right? But you don't know that, and you're looking for these full-time person, or you might be rejecting the full-time people that you
Mhm.
might meet. The person it could be, you might be rejecting them
Right.
subconsciously, and going after the
Right.
ones that you know are not going to be full-time. You could be doing
Right.
that, or you
Because
could
some
be,
people do that just on purpose. Like,
yeah. Or
yeah.
some people don't even realize they're doing it. I've
Right.
talked to several women that I've talked to and just like, you realize you're doing this, right? And I told them that they were doing it,
I'm
and
like,
they
why
was
are
just
you
like,
doing
what?
this?
And they didn't realize that they were rejecting.
Because people don't
Yeah,
people don't think about that as a forethought. They
yeah.
just move,
They're just moving.
and so that's why I said when I need a woke man, I need somebody that conscious of all this.
Yeah.
Like, and that's rare. Like, most people aren't conscious of anything.
Yeah, I'm trying to, yeah.
Most people are conscious, but
Mhm.
I don't know. I think I need a full time person, part time. That's what I'm trying to say.
Like, well, you mean
Somebody with
full time
potential,
when you're together. Full time potential, right? He got
right?
this,
Full
he
time
got the,
potential, but let's ease
yeah.
into it because
But when,
one thing I notice about being single is I'm like getting comfortable. Like, I'm comfortable with moving how
yeah,
I move, comfortable
that's
with
why I'm
my
asking that.
space, and
I see
I need
that.
somebody. That's why I say they got to be woke because they have to understand like
They
the
got to,
importance of meshing.
they got to understand that too. What you're
Yeah,
just saying.
yeah,
Because let's say if somebody was to date you and he'd be like, "Yo, well, I'm supposed to," he feel like he need to come over every night and spend the night over here, and you like, "Yo, I need my space."
right. And that's another reason why I don't want to jump into it yet because and I don't know if this is a Taurus thing or a me thing. I don't like hurting people's feelings or making people feel.
I
I
don't
don't
either. I
like
don't
what it
either.
feels like when somebody gets defensive towards me or has a conflict with me. So that's really hard for me to wrap my mind around getting
Yeah,
to something because 9 times out of 10 you're gonna have some kind of conflict with somebody, and I just want something that's easy because I've been through too much.
yeah,
I've been through too much.
because it could be a guy that's everything is cool and he just like, okay,
Yeah.
he expect to be with you all the time,
Because I've
and
heard
yeah,
stories about that, especially from like, you know, people close to me that I know are trying to date and they're dating different guys. And like you said, you speak on a man's
hmm,
point, but it also happens for women where men want to move faster.
yeah. Later in life, I realized why I was certain way in relationships, and I realized that I need I can be with you tough, but
Mm-hmm.
then I need like that time to recharge. We need our time to
Mm-hmm.
recharge.
Mm-hmm.
And not everyone understands that. I need someone who can understand that. And it's no slight on